Welcome back, and in this segment we will be talking about the Egyptian-German cooperation in the field of education, and joining us right now in the studio is Mr. Tharwat Qades, and he is head of the Egyptian Union, and of course he's residing in Germany, but he is keen to do community service and educational programs in Egypt. In addition to that, we are joined in the studio by Mr. Georg Horcher, and he is an educational expert from Germany. Welcome with us and good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sir, I'm going to start with you. You came here to Egypt with a kind of educational program for teaching the kindergarten students a new way of course, you're going to start with the teachers, and after then the students, a new way of I don't know, it's an education, a new way of teaching. So tell us more about this project.
Okay. This project starts in a cooperation between the Evangelic Church from here, the Synod of Nile, organized by my friend Dr. Qades, and the Presbyterian Church region near Frankfurt in Germany called Dreieich. We started with an exchange because we are convinced that education is one of the most important objects to develop a country. And the motivation has 3 points. It's moral motivation to make this cooperation. It's also a political motivation, and third, it's a scientific motivation. And we found out there is a big difference between early education and childhood education in the Qades in Egypt and in Germany, and it depends on the different systems. In Germany, the educational system, the kindergarten, the Qades, are part of the family, child and youth welfare system, and beginning from the first year. And in Egypt, you have divided the first 3 years. The nurseries are belonging to the social welfare system, and then the kindergarten, the Qades, are belonging to the school system. Yes, but we in Germany, we have the experience that it makes not sense to divide the childhood. The childhood begins from the early beginning, and we know from many researches and also from our experience that the first years in a life are the most important for the following educational activities, because the education biography will be found in the first years. And so after a long development process in Germany, it needs more than 40 years, yes. For the early stage, we came to the insight that it would be better to prepare following schools for the children than to prepare children for the schools. And you can put it later on, yes, it's better to prepare vocational education institutions. You prepare them for the young people and not the young people for them. So this is the general idea. We try to compare, and the main object of this cooperation is to give the Egyptian teacher another impression, another experience, and another insight. We came not here to tell you you must do it in this way. It must concerning to the general system here, but what we have seen, yes, that the big difference is that in Germany we say we are more pointed and more focused on self-education by little children than to teach them. Though we say the main task of the German educators at the QG is not to teach the children. It's the main focus is to oh, I forgot the word, to stimulate their self-learning processes. Mm-hmm. So this is the big difference, yes, and we are convinced that this could be also a successful way in Egypt, and this goes back, quite back to the insight of Jean-Jacques Rousseau in the 18th century, yes, because he was the first who said children are not little adults. Children is an independent stage of life, yes, and children are not empty tubes which must be filled by knowledge, yes, though this is the general idea, yes.
Yes.
And
yes, we do think sometimes, we always say that they are a white page and you can write on them
yes.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Tharwat, I'd like you to tell us, first of all, about the program so far, because before the interview, we start the segment, you told me that actually you've been, it's been functioning for 3 years now. So would you start from the beginning? How did the idea come to you and how far you have accomplished?
Maybe at first we have to introduce ourselves in
a proper way.
This way,
yes.
Maybe. We have in a city not far from Frankfurt, mm-hmm. in the airport of Frankfurt, then this city called Langen, mm-hmm. as he told before. Mm-hmm. And we have since 1939, that means about 24 years, cooperation, what we call it German-Egyptian friendship. Mm. And we try to help each other, that exchange we do between Egyptians and German. Mm. The Egyptians come to us and we go to them.
Yes.
As I told before, that I am living in Germany about 50 years now. Wow. Since 1967, March, I came to my family, my wife, daughters, granddaughters. Mm-hmm. We have our establishment in that we could speak very good German, and we thought it is very important how can we help Egypt in this time. Mm-hmm. And we saw in our union that in all problems which we have, even Middle East or in Egypt, it depends upon their education. Mm. And so we started since 3 years, 2014, I started with the plan of our President El-Sisi. Mm. And I think this plan is how can we reform this land. And I think his thoughts were always education. And you see now very actual, if you read, if you hear the news, every day we say education. So we as a German and Egyptian German thought we start at first in Port Said because we have partnership between the Canal Dry Ice and Port Said. We started only for the private schools, especially in the evangelical church schools. But the governor of Port Said heard about this project and asked, why are you working only for the private schools? So he invited us last week, and from 110 schools, we have 173 teachers who specialized
I don't
for
want to stop you,
kindergarten.
but we have to go to a quick break and coming back, so please stay tuned.
Okay.